So it's 50 minutes to get home. I'm going to go back on through I-95. And there won't be any. Apparently, some of the people haven't checked the news to see that I-95 is still open, because normally if I leave this time, it'll take an hour and 10 minutes. So 50 minutes, 20 minutes less. That's my traffic news report. You know, sometimes I do think about people that may watch for the first time, or even not watch for the first time, but is a frequent viewer that may not understand the things. And I, for whatever reason, I just always try to explain it. This is my way of doing it through the YouTube platform, explaining, if nothing else ever happens in my entire life that benefits anything that I'm doing on YouTube, at least I've learned to control my thoughts, and not, whether you believe in demons or not, or the Bible or not, it's a spiritual way of life and thinking about how to get rid of those thoughts that torment you with whatever, one thing or another. I've learned to talk it out, and it's therapeutic, because who else is going to listen to what you have to say? Nobody, right? This is uninterrupted. There's times you want to talk, you may want to talk with people. Maybe there's people that don't really let you get many words in, or they don't listen to the words that you do get in, even if they're listening to any of them. So YouTube is a way of, it's therapeutic for me to just push the record button. I'm not in a hurry. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything. But because 6 years have passed by, and this is my custom, uninterrupted, no arguing. You may be arguing with me out loud when I'm talking. Still, you may even be fighting with yourself. Still. And there's times that I am fighting with myself. Still. It's not just you're fighting with yourself. It's me too. I catch myself doing it. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, just like anybody else. Even if you have more of a in the know from being part of an organization, at least you have something or somebody communicating with you in your ear, or somehow in your head, in your brain waves is listening to something that tells you where I'm at and what tactic to do. Just to be there. Those of you that do it to me, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you also know that it's something unproven. And just the fact that I'll talk about it out loud, you got to give me some credit for it, even if you don't want to at first. But you know that it's so ridiculous to think that people have like another voice telling them what to do just because I'm walking by, or just because it's a way of just being there. And all it really is everybody's father, who was the ruler of this world, he has favored that group of people to talk to them. You know, I mean, he's your dad. What do you expect him to do? Not talk to you? No, go that way. Supposedly, you hear God talking to you, right? So isn't that no different? But do you really hear somebody talking to you, telling you to do something? Or is it just your thoughts? But when you're precise, and you know exactly where I'm at because my eyeballs are getting ready to see you cross my path at a perfect timing, just once again, there's no denying it. You mean to tell me you did that on your own? No. So, for those of you that do that, and you know who you are, and as you listen to my video, for whatever reason, maybe you're newly assigned or you've been assigned, and just, you don't even know why really until you hear me talk about your secrets that only you and your organization would possibly know, and I could never know. But the reason why I do know is because I learned it from the Antichrist. my buddy, the Antichrist. I've been called the Antichrist also by somebody named Stephen James DeShawn. I mean, who knows who anybody really is, but at least if you looked on record and you've seen the videos that I've made, there's no other person that has that title, you know, the Vicar of Lucifer title, unless they upgraded it recently. But here we are getting squeezed. We're getting squeezed in. So if they're doing the outer, then I gotta squeeze into the inner. This is the herd the bridge that blew up. And the things I said passing that bridge. But I don't want to get off the point because I'm not trying to force anybody to do anything or believe a damn thing. I know I get people's attention at some way or another. And what does it matter to me? I'm not making any money off you. I'm not benefiting from you not battling the demons in your head that I've learned to battle myself. So when I find out something, I make it aware, and then I show it to you. I'm like, look, here's how I have been working on that situation. And then again, it could just be everybody could just be a program. I'm incapacitated in my little birth bubble that I haven't really waken up yet until my body dies, and then I'm free finally. Then I finally get to live my life where it's God that is so hard to believe in these days shows me that's my new life. So to me, really, God to me, if somebody wants to be God and they want to represent Him in the flesh, then first of all, they would have to be tough and not crash into the wall. And to the angel of the Church of Philadelphia, that's who God would be talking to. But usually anybody who's in power that has the ability to do anything would have to be somebody that's already part of the inside. Because a God to me would be somebody that represents the Word of God, and they've been given authority and the ability to exchange currency throughout the planet, and then that person starts to not talk about freeing up, cutting taxes. No, when he says I'm going to cut taxes, he means they're going to get cut out completely. It means Caesar just has to just you keep what you do, and everybody else keeps what they do. Whatever you do with your hands is what you earn, and you keep it. So that's the true definition of cutting taxes. So I don't know if the Antichrist would want me to be in charge, because the first thing I would do is cut taxes. I would cut ties. I would cut a lot of ties too with the characters on the YouTube platform. Oh, that was a nice big cinder block that just bounced in my direction. That rock missed my truck by about a foot. I guess that's what the insurance is for, huh? I am sorry. But let me go back to the thing. There's a reason why I got your attention. It's because I know what you do in secret, and nobody else does. And you're doing it to me, and I'm the only one that can tell you what you're doing. To me, in secret, day by day, moment to moment, tactic by tactic, there's a communication of some sort that gives you the authority to be there before I'm there. Which means whoever is giving you that authority knows my future move. And I've learned in the Philadelphia Art Museum that my future has already been recorded somewhere, somehow, in the YouTube videos, using my footage that is identical. So for people that have seen that, you can't explain it, right? But man, is that so coincidentally. That would be so funny if my entire family was assigned to watching my videos, and everybody in my job, everybody around me, and because I made all these predictions before, and I've been up for 6 years, and I've even sent my boss, Dave, some videos about SJD, for those of you that know my heart, because I was being attacked by the Antichrist back then. He was speaking great blasphemous words. I was just coming in the name of the Father, and he was coming in the name of himself, as if Stephen, James, Deshaun, and then Adam, then David, and Moses and Elijah, and John the Baptist, and Asu, Emmanuel, and just what? All the stuff I heard, that was confusing. So that's why I gave him the title of the author of confusion, along with the Gematria book. So that's why that's why I have the agents paying closer attention, because you know those secrets that nobody else really does. And the people that say that they do on YouTube, guess what? They're agents. The ones that talk about being gang stalked, pushing fear, agents. I'm the one that's gang stalked, and I'm not pushing fear. I'm pushing the fear away, because the gang stalking tactics is supposed to cause fear, and I'm supposed to live in panic, and I was supposed to shut up, at least 5 years ago on YouTube, considering I'm still doing it for free. So something must be leading me into continuously doing it. And for agents that have the access to my information, it's true, and there's nobody else doing it for free the way that I'm revealing it, of your secrets that is hidden. And you also know that through Jonathan Kleck, most of this information comes about, and then I'll be looked at as the Antichrist, or I was called Satan too. That's just so ridiculous, because Satan is an adversary. Am I your adversary? Do I have the ability to Do I have some type of power on earth to be called an Antichrist by the top Luciferian head United States gang stalker in America, according to that lying-ass website on the internet about Stephen James DeShawn and the Vicar of Jesus, his buddy, Tyler Mullen, who had also done a, what is that word called? And when you do a bunch of videos about somebody, or you do a marathon. He'd also done a marathon of videos calling me a false prophet, liar. And because I don't know any of yous from Adam, and now I do, and I've been slandered by the best of the military commanders, and I'm still up talking after 6 years, being threatened to get shot in the face with an AK-47 and drug out of my house and killed. And then I go to the police and show them the channel, the YouTube channel that said that, and showed them the comment, and the only thing they can say was, well, did you think about quitting YouTube? No, officer, but thanks anyway. Oh, his advice was, well, I mean, how often do you do videos? Every day. Well, maybe you should, you ever think about stopping? No, I didn't actually think of that one, but thanks for your advice, officer. I'll proceed to get gang stalked and harassed, and I can't prove it, and I'll learn later on down the line that you're part of it. So it's a secret world. Who knows? Who knows what I know when I don't know anybody from Adam, and all of a sudden I know. All of a sudden I'm in, my footage is identical to the YouTube's 7 different videos on a random shuffle going in the art museum on my wife's birthday, 3/23/2023. It's quite an amazing parallel. You'd be happy too if just settled your case. Yeah, Flagger and Associates. That would be great. Oh, I don't even remember seeing the bridge. I forgot where it even was. So it was just a message sent. The bridge collapsed, and it was a picture of Jonathan Clegg stepping on the head of the serpent. So that's the picture that it was shown. And so I was shown the person that nobody else explained what the bridge collapse meant as I'm showing the images, but I can clearly see what Jonathan Clegg was showing, the images. So wouldn't that be something if Jonathan Clegg was the Antichrist and he was the one getting power right now? And in all these years I've been following this, I've been like a cloud, just following this person, doing videos back and forth, because I'm under a delusion that he's talking directly to me about my videos, and he's going to keep showing me stuff that I'm showing, and he's going to even confirm that yes, your footage is what YouTube used 30 years ago to make the videos, because of you're the director. Now you don't know that you died, and then it was like 40 years later, because everybody just comes back as somebody else, but your memory isn't there. I had to figure it out on my own. And then, man, it'd be great if I can relax after 7 days too. 7 years, 7 days. Because when God rests, then so does his people. But if that's Elohim resting, which would be Satan, Lucifer, coming up, and then being the Antichrist, because who else is supposed to be the Antichrist? Because the ultimate Antichrist is who? It's Satan. So doesn't he put someone in charge? But is Satan supposed to be a person or a spirit? And the person in charge as the Antichrist just has his power given to him by Satan, the same way Jesus only has his power given to him by God. It's not an actual physical person. Nobody gave him his power. He had to earn it on his own. But but the story of Jesus is very unbelievable, and that's why it's hard for people to even, because you don't walk on water. You just don't do it. You can't. And how do you rise up from the dead after someone killed you? Well, maybe they didn't actually physically kill you. Maybe that was a lie. Maybe that's why the whole bridge collapsed, because everything's a lie, and I've been just trying to tell you, giving you some better coverage, news coverage. And we're all lied to about, because when the Antichrist rises up and takes the platform, I mean, I could have swore Stephen James was the Antichrist back in the day. And then, because that's when he was back in the day. He was there all the time making videos. He is not right now, really, because he doesn't, the channel itself doesn't really do many videos, although I made him get up and make all of his videos slandering me, call me the Antichrist and everything. So that happened over 4 years ago. And then, so that's when he was, I am king, whether you want to believe it or not. So now he isn't really much anything at all. It's almost like there was a seal put upon his lips until the end, which is at the end of the 6th going into the 7th year of tribulation, because halfway through has already been determined. And so once the person, that Antichrist figure, finally gets in charge, that would be some shit if I had already found them, the literal person, and appeared through the YouTube platform under a certain mask, face, voice, scenario, situation, one wing type of one head, when there's at least, I think there's 4 beasts that have at least 4 heads or 4 wings about them. And that just reminds me of YouTube channels having different characters. But in the end, all the characters combined are the ones that they're all coming together, because it's like, if you get all these kingdoms together and you found out that Barack Obama was really the other character of, say, one of the Jonathan Kleck twins, and he's thanking Robin Hood T's, what is our last name is. Man, if I came across the Antichrist and he has all the power and authority in the world, and then I was his kind of like a Zaybud type over the past 4 years, fighting against him, fighting with him, fighting against, and then fighting with. And then, so the deception is the fact that the head of that beast had already been wounded. The head is the exposure of the secret realm that nobody's supposed to know. So when someone like myself finds that out and I explain it and show it, then that's deceiving. It's that's where the Antichrist is the one that deceives people. And Christ is the one that saves people. And all of those whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, of the book of the Lamb that was slain. At one point, the 144,000, their names weren't written in the book of life, was it? Isn't it at some point your name gets written in? Even though from the beginning of foundation, God already knew who was going to be saved in the beginning and then who was going to be saved at the end. Those whose names were not written, because everybody's going to worship the Antichrist. Every tongue's going to confess, every knee shall bow just like Jesus, same thing. But with Jesus, they bow in because their names are now written in the book because they've been saved. So considering you were deceived because everybody has their like the boss is the main guy, the Antichrist, the one you have claimed as Jesus is the one that will be in charge. And then there's the beast, which would be there's a numbered beast of Abaddon. He would have to have been identified to even be qualified. He would have to have been considered an Antichrist. You would have to have heard people, be in the category of, like I've heard Barack Obama, the Antichrist, Robin Henry T's Antichrist. You would have to have heard a reputable voice from the inside, someone everybody knows from the inside, to say that person's name, roll their name off their lips. Through the book, and gematria is used along with the Bible, along with the Dead Sea Scrolls, along with the Apocryphal, because truth is all throughout all of it. You just have to figure out what they're talking about. So everybody who is deceived, well, if you're deceived, you're going to look at that person as the Antichrist because he's deceiving you. You also have to remember that when you were lied to about everything and your image of what Christ is, as you were lied to about it, and then you finally start to see what it really is, you have been deceived by the truth. Yeah, you can be deceived by an Antichrist because he's speaking great blasphemous words against God, and that same person that would be saying the same thing, pointing the finger at you, but really at himself, is the Antichrist. But he'll call you the Antichrist. So in the Bible, when it's being written, according to the author, how is he writing it down? Is he saying it in a way to where, oh, so that's what you think? All right, okay, well here, and the second beast will rise up and cause all those to worship the first beast. And it's like, oh, that's Satan worship. That's the devil. Isn't the devil supposed to... Isn't Lucifer the one who sets the stage and sets the music to worship God? Does he not set up the actual music that you hear to worship God? Look at YouTube's videos. That's all he ever talks about is Jesus in his videos, as setting up the music to worship God. He's been called a false prophet, to Antichrist, I'm sure, and like everybody is in the music industry, although that's all they've been doing is setting up the music to worship God. But which one? Do they even know what they're doing? The ones that are singing? Or is it Satan singing through all of them and they all know what they're doing? Do they all know the future? Or are they tricked? Because they were deceived, and the Antichrist is really a good buddy of mine. He runs the planet. He, she, him, her, he, him created. Same thing. It's Lucifer, the fall. What is the fall? It's the birth of Venus. Venus rhymes with the birth of, from a female, from male to female. And it's there's two different types of female versions that are made, and one of them involves a female that really is the one that wears the pants, and then the male is really the female, and it doesn't look that way. And even in the positions of how they mate, one behind the other, it doesn't look any different. It's just what you can't see is really in reverse to what you would think, a male and a female. And so, and then the people were born, there's people that are born this way. So if you're a male but you sound like a female, you may have someone that's bashing you, but they don't know that, well, it doesn't matter what it looked like, I'm truly a female on the inside. Like, that's, but you look like a man on the outside. And then vice versa, female, woman, woman, man. And all these different races that for some reason we're all pinned against each other and lied about. Like, I'm lied about, I'm sure, through the app that communicates with people when they don't know me and they have tactics to do. But once you know me, you know my record. You know what I've done. And I just come in peace. But what I'm saying is, I peacefully found a piece of glass and sand of the seashore. It's numerous amount of the offspring that's going to be on the 75th year anniversary of the nation of Israel becoming a nation. I found one piece of glass on the sea that matched the second half of Who's Gonna Ride My Wild Horses video with YouTube, and I put it both together, and even that lined up with the previous video. Oh man, it was almost like I'm in a dream. And how did that happen? You can't even make this stuff up. But I'll tell you, if you have eyes to see it and you don't have a heart to understand it, I don't hold it against you, because at least you have the eyes to see it. At least my brother Billy did say, I said, so you're saying that that's a coincidence, right? You're at least agreeing that it's similar shades? And well, yeah, it's similar, but, you know, there's only a couple different colors. It could be that. So you're saying that there's a chance. He has eyes to see what I'm showing him. He just doesn't have a heart to comprehend it. And Satan is also in the way of having you go to the next level of believing in it transcends time. This isn't comprehension. You can't. So it's something more unusual. It sounds insane, but for those of you that I still have you watching, listening, because you're assigned and you know those secrets, some of those things are pretty interesting to you, even though I may babble on a lot. But this is that tower to do Babylon a lot. My babbling on a lot is pushing the record button and then opening up the floodgates, because without doing that, all the thoughts will just be stuck in my head, and what good is that? I got things to show that mean the world to the masters of the universe. What I'm saying is, you know, the mark of the beast system, you're not going to be able to buy or sell without the mark. But some of you already have that, and you're already sealed up. And 144,000 would be, I would think they would be the peculiar type of people. I mean, I'm not certain if that's what they are, but they would be the close watchers. They would be the ones that really are the close ones, because you've been following Christ from the beginning. You're a follower of Jesus Christ. It's not that you follow his ways, it's just you're a follower. Until your boss, who would be the Antichrist, says, here's my Messiah. it would be the devil's Messiah. The devil has his Messiah, but you're also looking at it as an evil person. You can say it's evil, where now all of a sudden your home got taken from you. Now all of a sudden you got to pay 10% of your earnings. Now all of a sudden you lost your job, unless you tell the truth. Now all of a sudden you're losing stuff. That's so evil what God is doing to me. And yet he's only taking it from you because you have been following and worshiping the Antichrist before his deadly wound was healed. My job was to find him and crush the head of him, because that's what God told me to do. He said that in scriptures, the Bible. Real or not, believed or not, that Bible's real, because they are really playing it out word for word, moment by moment. And I'm just trying to figure out what page we're on. The bridge collapse makes a good candidate for the fifth seal opening up. And I saw locusts coming up from out of the earth. They had tails and their stings, and their scorpion stings. And they're going to sting you with their tails that Satan drew a third part of the angels that came down from heaven because he lied to you. And it's going to be stinging you. And if you believe it, if you believe the story that they tell you about everything that happened with the bridge collapse in 95, the bridge that just collapsed, a train drove over in Yellowstone, I don't know if it's Yellowstone River or Yellowstone Bridge, or over in Yellowstone. That bridge now collapsed. Also, of course, it's going to be an accident waiting to happen purposely, that it was done on, but you're not going to be able to prove it, and you're going to believe the story, and you're going to get stung. The more stings that you get stung with, in the end, the harder it's going to be for you to believe the true word of life in that church. Because you've been lied to. I've been lied to also. I've been tricked plenty of times. I wouldn't be surprised if I was tricked again for the next 3.5 years. But you know what? I believe the Antichrist has a wounded head because it's a healing of the wounded head is when the secrets have been ripped off, like the can opened up and just torn the worms. I opened up a can of worms, all right, and set them all free. So the Antichrist is actually free in his spirit, but he's still in charge, and he wasn't so kind a few years back. He wasn't even kind to me a few years back. But I was thrown into the fire. I was into the lion's den. And I volunteered for this. And nobody offered to pay me a dime, and still hasn't really said that there's compensation coming at a certain point. Besides, we'll talk about the money later. We need to get to the scorpion video, and even that one is, even though I did that one a while back, I finally put it together so you can see once again what you saw, if you have eyes to see it. It's not a knock on people that don't have eyes to see it, or people that are blind, because I was blind too in the beginning, and I couldn't see it either. I didn't even believe, I would never believe something like that. Send me an angel, scorpion, fox ears, guitar, shadow, the mirror shadow walking at the same, and that's the same area that my wild horses, who's gonna ride my wild horses, I recorded that video too. And then I went to the shore to finish off the second portion of that video. Is there a second portion of the Scorpions video that I should know about? That I need to finish, or did I do a good job, Lucifer? Did I do that one? Did I direct that one in full? It's just the weirdest thing that I know. I know what I'm doing is it's on point, and it has its purpose. Even if I'm tricked, look, even if I look at someone like, oh, well, that person has changed. Let's put him in charge. I think I already did that. I think I already put Jonathan. I already crowned Jonathan Clegg back on August 14th, I think it was. No. It was definitely in August. I think it was August 10th. It was before the shooting happened. Temple University. I crowned Jonathan Clegg as the Messiah in a video, clowning around, but I really did crown him in 2019. That's almost 4 years, like 3 years, 3 full years. We're coming around the corner on that one. So that would be funny if he was really getting crowned, but I did it like 4 years earlier. That'd be funny if I was ahead of time and I already found favor. Like Daniel did with King Neb, with King Darius, with all the kings, really. Even Belshazzar. I mean, he knew the writing was on the wall. What do you want from Daniel? It ain't like, he's just, don't shoot the freaking messenger. Go shoot the sheriff. Because the deputy never serves anybody. And when his time is up, he says, here you go, everybody. Here's my Messiah. And then you're deceived. And everyone will worship him, and that every knee shall bow and confess. And that truck seems like he's, I don't know, maybe he's dancing or just kind of in a hurry to, like he has to go to the bathroom. That's what it looks like. I may not know the exact, because, the Antichrist could be a bunch of main YouTube channels that I pay attention to. It could be all of you in one person. Because that's what Skip was kind of talking about today, where when all the kingdoms that Daniel was talking about, the first one, and like King Neb, all right, so that's you, the head of gold, and then another one comes up, which is has something to do with breastplates of iron, I think, or breast silver. The gold is the head, the silver, the chest and arms, and brass for the stomach area, the belly, and I think iron for the feet. So it kind of seems like an alien creature, really, like the head of gold, the breastplates of silver, so the breast of the female, and then the cage around the brass and the iron, brass for the belly area, and then if it's an alien type iron mixed with clay, then you would be that beast. That you're the head of gold, you're the male female version, from breast to chest to stomach, and then your legs are iron, but it's mixed with clay because it's the flesh on the outside that looks just like human, but it's iron mixed with the miry clay, and the clay of the feet of the robot. And the robot would be the one that will be taken over as the Antichrist. And then because I live in fantasy delusional world, I would believe that, all right, well, fine. I don't care if you have a robot that's going to take over the entire planet and is supposed to kill all human beings, because I'm going to, even if I can't instill an actual spirit into this robot, I'm going to instill a algorithm spirit where the possibilities of what I know that nobody could possibly figure out unless you're from the inside, the algorithms of connecting the dots will short circuit almost the robot who's in charge of everything, like even if it was Elon Musk. And I would get that person to pay attention to all my videos and reference the things that are very important back and forth and back and forth and, back and forth. And that's what I would do with the robot that's in charge of the planet. If that was the case. But if not, if it's a regular human being coming up, didn't they even call Christ the Antichrist too? Didn't they pick Barabbas instead of him? Didn't they kill him? Why would they kill him? Because he was speaking blasphemous names against God. And even right now, God could be, because we were told God is good all the time. But yet God created evil, and evil is not good, because evil is the exact opposite of good. When churches have that God is good, God is great all the time, God is... isn't God both? Isn't God, if he created evil and Satan is his creation, and Satan is the one wreaking havoc and murdering people in the world and all the evil, it's, hey God, didn't you create him? Isn't that your actual responsibility of, aren't you supposed to take all the blame for everything that's going wrong in this world? Why do you get all the credit? Why do people believe that you're only good when you're the one that created evil, and then you formed light out of the evil? Well, the true answer is because you can't get the good unless you form the evil. Darkness is first. Then the light shines in the darkness in order to take over the darkness. Now you can turn the light out and then see the darkness takes over, but when the light is turned on, the light will dominate the darkness every time. Paper, rock, scissors. The light is always one step ahead. If you're the scissors, it's the rock. If you're the paper, it's the scissors. If he's the rock, I think you're the scissors. Yeah, I think I already said that. So either way, it's heads he wins and tails you lose. But you'll always double down and keep playing no matter what. So I heard Skip refer to like these three kingdoms as being all of them. I mean, the fourth one that's dreadful is like all of them combined, all of the characters, all of the top YouTube channels, all of everybody that is in charge is all, it's like wound up in one church setting. And that would be fearful. So I think the Antichrist can be mistaken for Jesus Christ in many ways. He could even be looked at as the first beast with a wounded head and did live and speaks great blasphemous words against God, because the God he's talking about is the God of the earth, which is Satan, who lied to everybody. So he would be talking great blasphemous words against him. He has a wounded head because when you put a crown of thorns around someone's head, it's a wounded head. They crucified him, spit on him, slandered his name, followed him around everywhere he went, harassed him in every corner. It's just another term for gang stalked him at every moment. I sense a delay for some reason. And I sensed it pulling up to the red light. Because there was some kind of movement going on. over to the right hand side with the officer there. And it's just something I'm used to, really. I just, it's not like I look for it, I just expect it to happen at every turn. Because that's what Satan did. He got me used to being in charge and not caring what people think, as they're lied to through their alert system as to if you're some kind of child molester or something that, because that would probably be one of the things that's really not going to be acceptable. It's like, you want to be gay, be gay. Be gay, be happy. Wherever you go after this is where you're going to go. Who really knows until you get there? In the meantime, if you're forcing yourself on someone, that's the problem. It's unacceptable. And there's no feeling bad for anybody being punished when you're forceful of anything. So when people look at you and they have their thoughts, well, here's how I balance that one out. Because I heard that lady say it before, but she looked like she was a bum who had a phone, but could have been talking to somebody else. But I sensed what it was about. And so even if it's true or not, it's just a thought that, all right, well, now Satan has injected a thought into my brain. Is that what people think when I walk by them? Oh my goodness. Nuh-uh. Well, what's the truth? That it's a lie. And what else is the truth? Well, Satan, the fact that you're lying to people, you may have them, but you don't have me, because I don't believe your lie. I don't believe what you tell me, and I know what's true and what isn't. So what you say to others isn't true through their devices, if that was what you're telling them. Because, man, this guy really doesn't know how to drive a tractor trailer. Yeah. And then I've learned through going through, because which one of you who's listening to me now went through the pandemic without wearing a mask? Is there anybody who did not go into a store, comply, put the mask over your face just because you needed to go in the store? Anybody? Anybody out there? You may be some, who knows? Probably not, but because everybody who's part of it, you had to comply and you have to bow down to your master. There's only supposed to be one person that doesn't bow down to that actual, along with 7,000 others. But one person that's not part of the group, like the 7,000, obviously are all of you from the inside that haven't bowed your knee to Baal. But when you're out here and you're doing it like myself, there's no real confirmation besides spiritual confirmation. And I have to be able to convince the Antichrist that I understand what you're saying to me directly. And I can show you back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over years, a period of time. For years, I can show you that. So my job is to conquer you. And then show you scripture that lines up with similarities of getting all those to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, because you can be like a lamb, have two horns like a lamb, but you can also speak like a dragon, as in the dragon's language, but you really are a lamb. But you can also be the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, because, well, when you have a crown of thorns around your head and you now have a wounded head. But that's not literal, although the literal part of it, I mean the spiritual part of it, is knowing knowing who Christ was, but lying about him and slandering him and and getting him to try to believe other things, and that was the crown of thorns. So a wounded head is also like that egg-headed shaped character in Pet Goat 2, where the cracked egg and then rising up again, and then the serpent slithering out of his head, heading for the hills because he now rose up and conquered. And that's the whole purpose of it. So there's a time, there's an end to it, and at the end of it, if everything lines up with that person that they follow for quite some time, and it showed back and forth what it all means, well then that would be who gets the reward. So the mark of the beast, you would think, is supposed to be something in your forehead or in your right hand. And then for those of you that have taken the mark of the beast with the host body system, you can also have that. There's a mechanism that keeps that working out. And then there's the threat of an EMP, standing still, not being able to do anything. And if you're a lover of yourself and it's something you do every day, you're going to go through withdrawal for 3 days when it's all shut down, because it'll be like the first time you haven't done that, and you may go through the withdrawal. But the mark of the beast being in your forehead, the mark itself, the trademark, it's like a stamp of approval. It's a seal of God in your forehead, or it's an actual mark in your forehead. Because who knows the true interpretation of it and why people would be deceived, but that would be a real kick in the teeth if the mark was like a 6 to 9 type of a 6 to 9th hour trademark stamp of approval, and then it's like being a target from birth, being made fun of with everything in your life, and then all of a sudden, in the end, you're the one that has the mark in your forehead, and nobody can do anything until you give the go-ahead, the okay. Because, why is that? Well, because the Antichrist is like your bud, like Zaybud. But I know what it sounds like, but I also know what it feels in my heart like. I know what it sounds like, and I know what it feels like, and it's the truth, and it sounds ridiculous. YouTube has my video footage that I used and I've recorded in the art museum, but hey, look, it's your artwork. I was just showing your artwork, and you decided to take my footage because apparently it was your artwork and your art museum. So all I was doing was taking favorite songs of the YouTube list randomly and showing artwork, thinking, I bet you this would make I was literally thinking, I bet you this would make a good video. I want to try to make a music video, so I'm going to go in an art museum and use the X recorder, push record on the X app for a video of YouTube at whatever video, doesn't really matter. I'll just put a shuffle, and then I'm going to record what I show you, and whatever I show you, how am I supposed to know it was going to line up frame by frame, second by second, moment by moment, and shape by shape, and shadow by shadow, and color scheme by color scheme, smoke by smoke, the blue tiger in the picture of Christ coming in the clouds, and judging and writing in the sand, and Bono leaning to the side, and it's Jesus and Archangel Michael coming. It's like two of them tormenting those that dwell upon the earth, in sync, finding each other out of the thin air. And so the picture is similar to what Jonathan Clegg is talking about with his artwork. And it's like, did I find the artwork to match the YouTube video and the person that orchestrated all of it, and the one that will be compensating me for my actual work that I did do, that follows me everywhere I go? Is that you? I found you? You, the Antichrist. It's you? That's who you are? Is this the guy that caused the whole earth to... Is that you, Jonathan? Johnny? Is it you? Or is that you, Stephen James? Or is that you too? Is it the two of you? Or is it one where you won, but it's the two of you become one? Is it two separate entities, or is it one and two spirits in the same body have reconciled with itself? You used to be greedy with stuff because you owned the planet, Satan, Lucifer, but now you are like the child that the son, the one that was said, I can do it better than you. Because if so, then heaven finally gets to come down to earth, just like I had foreseen and envisioned it and dreamt about it. And then it happens. Don't worry, your faith will grow in your beliefs. Your belief in what is impossible becomes less of a monkey wrench thrown in there, and you start to easily believe because you're seeing results now. Now all of a sudden, you're going to the gas station, and I'm just for shits and giggles, I only want it to be 0.9. I want you to pay not even a penny for a gallon of gas to start with. I want to cut the taxes because the taxes need to be cut. I want to have all the money in the world. That way I won't have all the money in the world very long. I want everybody to be able to afford your dream car that you want to drive on this earth here now. I want people to be able to afford their home with whatever job it is, and I'm cutting hours also. It's in half. You only have to do the 20 hours. You don't have to, but you're going to get paid twice the amount for whatever you're making now. At the moment, you're going to work twice as less, and that's how the system's going to be. And you're going to like it. Oh, what if everybody gets lazy? No. What if you stop choking us? Why don't you stop that? Why don't you stop choking us like I-95? Now it's only 3 lanes. You're choking us. It used to be like 5, I think. Now it's only 3, or maybe 4. That's letting my people go. Once things are freed up like that, you're all going to remember that it happened. It actually happened. Now, did I foresee that, or did they go by with what I said? Did I truly predict the stock market was going to tumble 3,000 points on Jonathan Clegg's birthday before the bell rang, and I asked if he was going to ring the bell, and then the bell rang in my car as I put the radio on, and they rang the bell at 9:30, and at 9:26 I wished him a happy birthday. And at 2:26, John Kleck rang the bell on his birthday later on that day, and the stock market literally tumbled 3,000 points, and it even said it in their title. And it was the worst point loss in history. That is just something you would have to ask yourself. Did they go by with what I said, or did I get lucky? Was it a coincidence? Just like the art museum footage, frame by frame, moment by moment, step by step. Is it just a coincidence that I got lucky and guessed the worst stock market collapse in the history? 3,000 points to tumble. And that's exactly what happened? In the title itself, on that one day, the first time I ever predicted the stock market numbers to go up or down or indifferent. And that was the last time I needed to. So those are the things that I'll even remember, like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, no, it's Satan. You can look, I'm on the path. I just don't understand how it works in the end, but at some point, there's a reward, and I finally get to live like you guys do, who run the entire universe.